From Darfeasy Studios in Eddyville, Kentucky, it's time for another episode of the Evolution of Survivor Strategy. Tonight, we're breaking down all kinds of names. From Coda, dominating the tribal part of the game, and Fang, or Fong, basically out strategizing. We talk about all that, plus some of the most underdog players we've ever seen come in and win, and Ball surprisingly wins this season of Survivor. We talk about all that and more on this episode of the Evolution of Survivor Strategy. Your host, Darfeasy. Hello, Easy Nation. Welcome to another episode of the Evolution of Survivor Strategy. I'm your host, Darfeasy, and welcome to another awesome episode. We're on chapter 17 on the Evolution of Survivor Strategy. We're getting close to that, being halfway there on the Evolution of Survivor Strategy. We're getting closer and closer to that second All-Star season, which I'm looking forward to talking about when we get there. But for now, let's talk about Survivor Gabon, or Gabon. Gabon was a very interesting season of Survivors. One I remember watching. I remember a lot of stuff going on in this season. There wasn't really anything that really surprised me. Some pretty cool characters in this season. So let's just get right into it. So, the tribes, they're divided up. You have one tribe called Fong, and then you have the other tribe, Coda. And basically, Coda ran the game. Coda completely dominated the tribal game, and completely knocked them out. So we have the first three tribal councils. Coda wins 2, Fang wins the reward immunity. Okay, so you're starting to think, okay, Fong's got a little bit of an edge. Well, we remixed the tribes, mostly, but really it goes into Fong's disarray, because basically what happens is they lose the next challenge. They lose the next few immunities, and if it wasn't up for some twist in the game, like Sugar has to go to Exile Island instead of getting picked on a tribe, so that doesn't knock Fang's tribes down 1, it just keeps them at 7. And then you have, basically, they go down to 5, but thanks to another twist where they did a double tribal council, they basically, before the final tribe mix-up, it is 6 of the new Codas versus 4 of the new Fangs. And so, yeah, I mean, the thing about this season was, there was, on the Coda side, you had this dominant alliance of Marcus, Charlie, Corinne, Bob, and now Randy. That's that dominant alliance. But the problem with that alliance is they had Susie. And Susie, you never make someone feel like they're on the bottom, because if you make them feel like they're on the bottom, they're going to flop. They're just going to flip. It happens every time, and this is just another classic example of that. And that's what happens. I do want to talk a little bit about, Ace, because I really did enjoy Ace. Ace was basically pupping in Sugar along, but basically Kenny and Crystal convince Sugar to turn on him, and he goes out. So we get to the final 10. And basically, there's this immunity idol at the merge feast, and they find the idol, and Marcus convinces everybody to well, let's just get rid of it. If eBay wants it, you can have it right now. But basically, where the idol is. So it was kind of a smart move on his part. And he's like, I don't want to play with the idol. I want to play a straight up Survivor game, out strategize players. So it was kind of an interesting move on his point of view. So we get to a mix up. So basically what happens, we have new Fang, new Coda. Basically, Coda has the edge on both tribes. It's 3-2. The new Coda loses the next immunity challenge. Marcus, Susie, and Bob are on one tribe, on the Coda, and then you have Kenny and Crystal. But basically, going to tribal council so many times may be a disadvantage, but it's really an advantage because you learn how to play the game. Where you have people like Marcus, who hasn't really played the strategy game the entire season, where he hasn't had that time at tribal council to try to figure out the things. They convince Susie, you're on the bottom. Once you get the final 6, you're going out. Let's team up. Let's go to the top 3, top 4, top 5, whatever we can get to, and let's take out one of the biggest immunity threats yet. And Marcus goes home. Very big move, because he probably could have won this game. If he makes it through this vote, he probably wins the game. And it just shows you how good Kenny and Crystal were to be able to convince someone to turn on that alliance and to change their fate in the game. And so, yeah, then we get to the final 9. The Coda Alliance, they're devastated that Marcus is out. And it basically knocks them all out. You have Charlie gets taken out next. Then at final 8, final 8, Bob made his fake immunity idol and he gave it to Randy. And the way he made these fake idols was they looked incredible. Like, like the last season we had Ozzy make the little stick, and how Jason was able to fall for that, I'll never know. But he plays that idol, and he realizes, oh wait, this isn't a idol. This is a stick. And the Bob idol looks like an immunity idol. It really does, and it just shows that little cleverness of Bob to be able to play it. And Randy plays it, not an idol. Then Corinne goes out at 7. But Bob goes on his immunity run, and Maddie has been trying to get rid of Crystal and Kenny the entire game because he hasn't trusted them, and basically convinces Sugar to turn because Crystal was basically a bully to Maddie, basically throwing him out, and Sugar, kind of that player who she's like, I'm not going to win anyways. I'm probably not going to beat Crystal. I'm probably not going to be able to beat Kenny. So I rather see people who are good people, honorable people, win the game. So she gets with Bob and all of them, and they turn on Crystal. Also, Bob made this deal with Kitty that he kind of screwed Kitty, that if you play the idol, or not you play the idol, basically that if I win the next immunity, I'll give it to you. But basically, Kitty was trying to outplay him, saying, like, what Bob gets rid of that idol, we're voting him out, just like what they did to Eric last season on Micronesia. But, Bob's not that stupid. He realized it, Sugar told him, and so, yeah, Sugar goes out, and Kenny. And let me just say, Kenny, I mean, really the archetype of one of the, the nerdy guys, like the Rob Cesternino kind of mode of Survivor players. Because Kenny, very underrated, very nerdy Survivor player. And for him to be able to make it to Final 5 was pretty impressive on its own. We get to the Final 4. Susie wins the immunity because I think they were going to vote out Susie next. And it was going to be Bob, Maddie, and Sugar in the final 3. I've been curious to see who would have won between that 3, but Susie won the immunity, and Sugar doesn't know what to do. She basically makes Maddie and Bob go to a fire making challenge, and Bob was practicing. Maddie was not, because he was confident, and Maddie goes without even getting a flame started. And yeah, Bob wins the final tribal council. My take with Bob is, did he probably deserve to win of the 3? I don't know. I think Sugar really did play the best game of all 3 of them. I think one of the things I want to talk about a little bit before we end this episode is coattail riding. It's one of those things I haven't really talked about a lot, and that's what this season was, because Bob and Susie were both big time coattail riders, and I think they just rode those coattails. Bob rode the coattails of the old Coda Alliance and was able to stay alive because Randy and Corinne were so disliked. But Bob, you couldn't help but like Bob, so he kind of floated along, and he was good at the challenges. Like, you wouldn't think he'd be that good at the challenges. And Susie kind of rode that coattail alliance just in a different way. So yeah, Bob wins the season. Deserves a win, I will say. He won those challenges, but for me, I never view winning challenges as a strategy. If you can't rely on your social gameplay, you probably don't deserve to win. But he did make those social connections. He even said in the night, I didn't outwin anybody, I didn't outplay anybody, but I did outlast you. And that's the season of Gabon. I really did enjoy it. It's a very good season. Alright guys, that ends this episode of the Evolution of Survivor Strategy. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you check out all the other episodes. We're up to chapter 17. I'm getting ready to watch Survivor Tokensheens. That's a really cool season with, the premiere of Stephen Fishback, JT, Coach, and Tyson. 4 players that we'll see again and again. So guys, I hope you guys didn't like this, podcast. Guys, if you like this video, click that thumbs up, subscribe, see more, tell your friends about Easy Nation, and make sure you check out my main Darth Easy YouTube channel. I am almost done. I got one more video to post of the top 100, the top 5, which will hopefully be up by Wednesday. We'll see. Depends on internet speed. So guys, until next time, all too easy.